The Cook family has
Thanks for
run
the
its
gift sub,
business for
Wi-Fi.
more than 30 years and never had a problem with slugs in the kitchen until a council worker reported they found one.
Is that the criminal?
Cook say they have proof it's a
That piece
setup.
of shit.
What did
Secret
they do?
agent.
They kneecapped us.
Is this Australia? I mean, this is the right to. This seriously leaves me completely cold. I just don't trust the system anymore, and I don't trust the things I used to trust.
ACA gets
Ben
my
and
blue
Ian
pump
Cook
into my
say
stomach.
they've been
Amen,
framed
Lacey. Appreciate the long time
by
of
a
watching.
dirty council.
There's something really smelly here. This whole thing is a stitch-up.
They're calling it a
Imagine your
scandal of
business
epic
being so
proportions.
shitty that a slug turns it over,
Not
ruins
40
it.
whole
Tonight,
pizzas.
the video
Not
evidence
a Papa
and the
John
eyewitness
sympathiser, though.
accounts.
We would
It
want
almost
that
looks like it had wings and landed.
fucking bitch.
Yeah, but nobody says pizza for a single slice.
Ian and his son Ben have run iCook Foods for decades.
The business started, over 30 years ago. My wife and I started.
15% of our workforce was actually disabled. We were about giving opportunities.
Oh.
They loved what they did, supplying healthy food to nursing homes and hospitals in Victoria.
What a wholesome business.
Food
What kind of
manufacturing got a
evil
really high
slug would
margin area,
infiltrate?
but we had enough to keep going that employed the family, 41 other people.
But in February this year, their world was destroyed. The Department of Health blamed iCook Foods for a listeria case in a private hospital, shutting
Thanks for the
company
tier 1,
down.
Camel. Appreciate it, man.
Families say they lost all their contracts and $500,000 worth of food.
Damn.
Later, they were given the all clear by health authorities to reopen.
We had swabs done on our facility, including slices,
Thanks for the
bench
resub,
tops,
Skull.
sinks, and even drains. And none of them had
Oh, sweet,
listeria.
man.
While all this was going on, City of Greater Dandenong Council sent in one of its health inspectors, and this is where things get slimy. You see the inspector walk towards the corner of
Yeah,
the
it looks like a
company's
criminal.
industrial kitchen. She squats down for 17 seconds off camera, while Michael, iCook's food safety supervisor, watches on.
Did you wonder what is she
Maybe
doing?
she was peeing.
Yeah, I found it strange that she was there for so long. I'm hyper-vigilant, and I can tell you literally every mark on this floor.
Was there a slug there?
No, there definitely wasn't.
Would you swear on
Yeah.
your life?
Yes, I would.
Council later hit the company
the
with
resub.
96
Big
charges.
ducking and
Their
Rob.
key piece of evidence, this slug.
You look at it and go, come hell or high water, I'm going to tackle every angle of this, from body camera footage to reading through their statements that they made in court, to going through it all to defend myself, my actions of all of my staff, because I know we did the right thing.
But why would the
Council
council
sensationally
destroy the
backed down
business?
and withdrew every charge against iCook Foods, claiming it was in the interest of their ratepayers.
If you're set to gain $11.5 million in fines,
Ah.
$500,000 investment doesn't seem so bad. Yet, they dropped all charges against my father.
So
Ooh.
why would council want to kill off iCook Foods? Well, it just happens to partly own a rival business, Community Chef.
They were absolutely losing money hand over fist.
We were supporting real families with real jobs.
Boys, we're losing in quarter
Real
4. What do we do?
business that supported
I don't know, but I found
themselves
this slug
and
outside.
wasn't
Maybe we
hurting
can use
the
it.
taxpayer.
You're a
And
genius.
The only way for them to
But
end
you're
up as
fired.
the last man standing was for this to happen.
Ben and Ian Cook have become sleuths. They've got a team of former fraud squad detectives assisting them with their claim that evidence was cooked up in order to shut them down. Now the evidence has been presented to Victoria Police.
Ian calls this the smoking gun. Photo evidence council gave him.
You can't argue with the
This
facts.
is
That's
the
a slug.
picture Michael took minutes later of the same slug. Spot the difference? Ian and Ben allege this piece of tissue has been photoshopped out. iCook Foods
No!
administrator Alicia Hodges greeted the council's health inspector the day
They
of the
deep faked a
discovery
slug.
and claims she saw something odd.
Jet fuel can't melt slugs.
And I thought, oh, that's a bit strange. And she had tissues in them. And I thought, well, why would a health inspector be walking around with tissues in their pocket?
She came in alone.
God, there's so many
She'd never
chapters to
been
this.
our factory, and she doesn't wear her body camera and miraculously finds a slug.
She's in 4 other days. Every other day she wore her body camera.
Oh, God, already the next chapter.
Inspection just 2 days before council.
Fuck, we're moving
arrived.
fast.
Is that right?
That's correct.
And what did you find?
Basically, we found nothing internally.
In the amount of years I've been coming here, which is well over 15 years, we've never
Maybe
seen
this was the
it.
woman that killed Jeffrey
Pest
Epstein.
Inspector Alex Jurger says the slug has him stumped.
It was a fairly warm, hot day, so they're nocturnal primarily. They won't come out during the day unless it's sort of a bit damp or wet.
They brought in the slug whisperer to weigh in, and even he agrees it makes no sense.
Would a slug be able to withstand those?
Not with the chlorine and sort of alkaline chemical they use there with a sanitizer. As soon as it came in, made contact with that, it would virtually die on the spot.
And where is the slug's telltale trail?
There's no sign of it sliding in.
Oh,
The plot thickens.
Hook,
A
line,
separate
and
Dandenong council
stinker.
worker claims she was pressured
They slugged
to
them.
fabricate evidence against
They popped him with the
Michael
slug.
Foods.
They are just bullies. I am absolutely
Those are the
disgusted
prime
about the behaviour. They went after
Rakeen,
iCook
Rakine,
with such
and the Tier 1
determination
Cowboy
to
Tom.
shut them down.
Victorian MP Fiona Patton has raised the
That's
slug
not true,
mystery
Stasis.
during
That slug
question
was
time
airlifted in.
Parliament.
What steps have you taken to address this scandal at the City of Greater Dandenong?
She wants a full investigation of these allegations.
We need to know how this happened, who knew about this, and what we can do to stop it.
My mum and dad started this business. His name is Ian Cook. The food company we have is iCook Foods. It's his name. How do you think he's taken this? How do you think our family has taken this?
Well, why don't we ask him? He's sitting right next to you. How are you taking it, Ian?
iCook Foods is coming for
Not
every
well, I
person
imagine.
who's gone against
No
us
one
to
likes to
try
get
and kneecap
slugged.
us.
We asked for a statement from the Greater Dandenong City Council, and we were surprised to also get a letter from the law firm it's hired. At what cost to the ratepayer, we wonder. Council refutes any claims by iCook Foods that it planted the slug in the kitchen and stands by its decision to bring charges against them. Council also claims the Victorian Ombudsman is satisfied with the procedures and processes it followed.
Well, why don't we ask the slug? Or was it assassinated? Because if so, that'd be very fishy. Cameras malfunctioned or something? It'd be a very valuable witness to the crime. Thanks for the tier 2 resub, Dan. You're not wrong, Frosty. I would be too if I got slugged. I don't know what eshays are, but I'm coming in hot.
These kids aren't even trying to hide their crimes, targeting train and bus commuters in terrifying daytime attacks that are uploaded to social media. No one is off limits, including the elderly.
That'd be huge, Rink. Thanks to the Prime Maiden.
The fact that my son can't walk 100 metres past his front door without being mugged for shoes is insane.
They're abusive. I will kick your teeth in. Thieving and downright dangerous.
So what are these, just shitty kids?
With little to no regard for authority.
Knock it off! No. Hold him back! No.
We're seeing reports of these groups, these gangs coming down,
using
public transport, getting into the shopping centres and then committing their crimes.
Do you fear this problem will escalate further?
I think it could. I think because nothing ever happens, these kids can't be or won't be.
The fuck is that prank?
Punished.
The ride a train
So
prank?
the groups just get bigger and bigger.
With two young teenage sons, Annie never really worried about them walking the 200 metres home from their local train station.
There was a time where you could walk the streets and be safe, but you can't anymore.
That's until her 12-year-old son and his friend were attacked in the middle of the day.
Ooh, that's rough.
That kid right there. He was the one that stole my shoe.
The pair were approached just metres from home.
I see an easy solution. Just walk around with a baseball bat. No one's gonna fuck around with that kid.
Use social media to boast about their bad behaviour.
It was pretty deceitful actually because they made out that they wanted to measure his foot size and see if their size matched, their feet were the same size.
Not wanting to antagonise the group,
the fuck is
Annie's
knee
son
rang?
did what they asked. That's when they ripped his sneaker off his foot.
It feels like it was just yesterday.
He was distraught. He was traumatised. He hardly slept.
Those are the
night
tier 1
after.
Skylight Pikachu.
And ever since, he's been very aware of groups of kids.
After her son
As well he
rushed
should be.
home, Annie called the police and set out to follow the boys, snapping
I hope
these
they only
pictures
stole
as
the
police
left
caught
shoe.
up with one
They
of the
have a choice to
thugs.
either walk
The
home
police knew who
barefoot
they
or with
were.
one
They
shoe
were
on.
known to police all three of them already, and they
Quite the
had other
conundrum.
charges being laid against them.
Now Annie's son is too scared to catch the train for fear of being attacked again.
And
they
fear
roam
of
in groups,
pedophiles, I
and they
imagine.
pick on people who are easy targets, and they go from train station to train station.
Eshays have long been a problem on the Gold Coast.
Who the fuck was
right
that
around
weeb?
Australia, dressing in designer clothes with bum bags, taking drugs and lashing out.
Give me my watch right now! Don't mind? Yeah. Wait, no, give her up.
They're wannabe thugs who act tough and like to publicise it.
That should be easy to arrest them then, right?
These gangs are kids that still have PTSD from Fortnite going down for a week.
But now, the
It looks
theory
like
is
it.
they're getting more violent with our train and bus stations, the new hangout spot. Locals are fed up.
Oh, I just call them Eshays. That's all they are. They're just low scum.
I've seen like a whole lot of fights posted on Facebook.
The fuck is an
A whole lot
Eshay?
of violence, elderly abuse, a lot of.
People just don't eyeball them. That's it.
I can't even go to high school without getting attacked.
Are fed up too, targeted by the thugs who
Damn, Kata.
continually steal. In this vision, a girl puts an item down her pants. On another day, a young boy shoves something up his shirt. And
Wannabe
in this
gangsters.
CCTV, another boy places a stolen item in his pocket. When confronted by a staff member, he bolts out of the shop.
They can come down on the rail with some level of anonymity, go into the shopping centres, commit their offences and go back.
Criminologist from Bond
Well,
University,
don't let 'em
Terry
back.
Goldsworthy says shopping centres near public transport
Business is really
are
shitty,
hotspots
so
for crime
we hope at some point they'll
cause
pay
headaches
if we
for
let them back.
police.
We know that shopping centres are attractive to criminal elements because they provide a target-rich environment, so it is quite a difficult thing
The
to
Eshays have
police.
infiltrated our
And he
police
wants to
force.
see
I believe
more
that.
police in the area and tougher consequences for the thugs, but fears
Imagine
things will
acting
get
tough with a
worse
fanny
before they
pack.
get better.
The kids.
What a
they go out
what a
there and
fucking
they offend,
loser.
And they know that they'll get a slap.
How
on
do you
the
take
wrist,
someone like that
and they'll
seriously?
be sent on their way. There is no repercussions for them. They bet on that.
Queensland Police have launched
Thanks to the Tier
Operation
1,
Luminous
Sophie
to
is
target
tired.
unruly and violent behaviour at train stations.
Appreciate the gift sub, Weaver. Alright. Where did we leave off on the new ones? Right here. Yeah, the car wash civil war. I don't know what's up with all the weight loss stories. It's cute, but I don't understand what's going on with it. Inside the sex industry fight to keep workers safe. It's about time. Genius dad is turning skip bins into epic budget pools. Ah, I see.
When we look
the
at
modern
a
day
rubbish
Da Vinci
skip, most
then,
of
eh?
us see a large dirty bin. Inventive dad Hans sees potential. His
Thanks
backyard
for the
project is now a
Prime
full-time job
Dinnovators.
converting dumpsters into budget pools.
What a brilliant idea. Yeah, utilising something that you wouldn't think of.
You're not wrong.
It's definitely a good way to cool down.
While we're used to
you know,
seeing skip
hats
bins
off
like
to him, I
this
guess.
one piled high with rubbish on our streets, one clever dad has come up with a new use that's now turned into a successful
That's gotta
business
smell
and
like
become a
shit,
hit
though.
with his kids.
Before we had the pool, we would always have to ask if to go to the beach or other people's pools. Now we just go in the backyard.
When young Maddie and Olivia started
How
begging
thoroughly
their
does he
dad for
clean
a
these?
swimming pool,
They're
they
fucking
never
dumpsters.
expected this.
At first, I thought, like, really.
I wouldn't swim in the
disappointed that we
dysentery
were going
pool.
to swim in a bin.
Yeah, neither would I, man. This is just asking for cholera.
Affordable was proving impossible. So Dad Hans Windell found a solution of his own.
I've seen a few skip bins around and thought, hey, I can just fiberglass it myself.
Oh, that's
yeah,
kind of smart.
That's how the idea started, eh?
The accountant turned DIYer took to the internet.
Hey, you know what?
for
Maybe
some
he's onto
handy
something. That's
tips
kinda smart.
Before spending weeks working to transform the bin. Called the skip pool, it wasn't initially embraced by every member of the family.
My kids actually thought, oh no, we're going to be swimming in a dustbin. You know, Dad, that's not what we wanted, eh?
But if you're fiberglassing the dumpster, wouldn't it just be cheaper at that point to just get one of those like plastic big circular pools? It'd be spacier and cheaper.
3 years
and not a
Later, you
dumpster?
can't keep the kids out of it, and now others are diving in too, because one of these is half the cost of an ordinary backyard pool.
I mean, the pool itself was about $9.7, and then we had a little bit
Oh.
of extra delivery.
Rachel Watkins, who lives
Bro,
on
you
property
can
in
get one of those
southwest of Brisbane,
cheap plastic pools that serve the same purpose for like
We love it.
$200
It's changed our
maybe.
lives, and really actually looking forward to the summer, probably for the first time in a very long time.
What the fuck?
Molly, Tom, and Schnitzel love cooling off, but warm the temperature can
They break
be on the
easier?
chilly side.
You could break one of those plastic pools 10 times over and still not even come up to the cost of one dumpster pool.
The steel actually regulates the temperature quite well, you know, and we've never been in the pool where we thought, oh gosh, we've got to get out of here, it's too hot.
While the original test pool was second-hand and transformed by Hans himself, the ones
Thanks for the
available
resub,
to buy
JKs.
are all brand new and manufactured in a factory.
Thank you,
So
Stasis,
far,
and I
Hans
definitely
has
will
sold
watch it at
more
some
than
point.
a dozen, which isn't bad for an idea which started over a beer.
I think that's the beauty of it, eh? Yeah, so it's letting everyone be able to enjoy a pool at not a very expensive price.
Have any of your friends actually said
Since
it was a
when is
rubbish idea?
$6,000
Yeah,
not an
I
expensive
think my wife
price?
said it
That's
was a rubbish
USD.
idea, excuse
See
the
if
pun.
Aka has any
bins are
videos
also
about
fitted out with a
Australia's
skimmer
mutant
box and
spiders.
Oh, they will,
filtration,
Rick,
and
that's for
you can
sure.
request a step or light.
I don't think there's any Australian bloke that hasn't had a ute that hasn't put plastic in the back of it and tried to fill it with water, but this guy's taken it to the next step and made it a bit of permanent magnificence.
Triple M radio host.
I can
Greg
say with
Nelson.
confidence I've
Because
never
of our
put
sunshine,
plastic
because of
over a
our weather,
dumpster and
this
jumped
is
in.
why we invent such wonderful things. The hills hoist.
You can say I didn't have a childhood,
There's
but I
no
never
doubt
even
this
thought
is
to
up
do
with
that.
We're having so much fun in the pool, you know, it's just changed the backyard.
Well, that's Australia for UXD.
You do need council
You're not
approval
wrong.
for those skip pools. Hans says so far the process has been relatively easy for his customers.
Well, if you say so. I personally would not want to swim in a dumpster, but to each their own. Furious brides say wedding videos looked like the Blair Witch Project. Now that's a story. That's a fucking story, baby. Okay. I love the Blair Witch Project. And I love the guy behind
Ashley
it,
set
if you're
up
here,
quite
Dan.
a money earner, filming weddings for almost $2,000 a pop. But these brides say their guests could have shot better videos of their big day on their phones.
Hi, are you Ashley?
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. I've seen you on YouTube.
And now we've reached 1,000 subscribers.
Hey, fuck yeah.
Shoulders with Will I Am.
Who would have thought that I'd be sat in the judge's chair at The Voice? Madness.
To adventuring overseas.
I'm in England at the moment. Mint.
Ashley's life online is picture perfect. Pity his wedding videos aren't.
Most of it you can't watch, our heads are cut off, the sound quality is shocking, it's all out of focus.
He's got our memories.
Looks good to
that we
me.
can't take back, like I just breaks my heart.
This budding videographer stands accused of leaving a trail of broken-hearted brides and
It's not a
former
crime to be
workers
bad at
behind.
your job, Christ.
Devastating.
Making it sound
Should
like
you
he's a
spend more
criminal.
time on working
He's just
on these
not
women's
good at his
careers?
job.
Yes, I should.
I think he really needs to realise that he is having a huge impact on other people's lives.
At the age of 14, I launched a videography and photography business.
Man,
It's now
ACA
known
just
as top
tanked this
15
kid's
videography
career.
businesses.
God damn.
I stumbled upon his website, which was so professional and it was beautiful.
When Tegan and Amy and their partners laid eyes on Simplicity Films, it was love at first sight. They bought premium video packages for $1,900.
Not bad.
He was just so comforting, but looks are deceiving, I guess.
He could be a nice guy and be bad at his job. He's not like an evil man for not being good.
A child could have filmed it. It was so shaky and found footage, my husband calls it. He likens it to the Blair Witch Project.
Amy feels it's a far cry from the 45-minute
Poor kid.
cinematic feature film she was promised.
It definitely could have been done better on anyone's iPhone.
Both women were also told they'd get the raw footage, but almost 7 months after their weddings, they say they're still waiting.
We ended up getting a 5-minute edit. 3.5 minutes of that edit's my husband's speech and it just cuts off in a really awkward spot. The footage of me walking down the aisle is so shaky and so disgusting. He's cut off my head, my dad's head, and most of it's focused on my bum.
Oh, okay.
It's horrible.
That's
We have no
for the
first
YouTube
dates,
version, baby.
arrivals from
Or,
our
excuse me,
bridal
Patreon
party.
exclusive.
Amy says she's been
Gold
contacted
tier.
by around a dozen disappointed women who paid Simplicity Films, including Danny Vasiliades.
We paid a 50% deposit of $400. I think it was before May actually, because we cancelled in May, and he promised that he would get it back to us, and we still haven't seen it. So
in the end, my phone calls were bouncing back, my emails were coming back saying this.
That's
there's
a little
no user
different.
there.
That's a scam.
Lost all contact.
What they got
I
was just
wanted
a
to
bad
speak to you
product.
about your booming videography business.
I'd rather
Simplicity
not.
Films? Why not?
You suck. You're not good at your job.
Busy with my studies.
That's when Ashley admitted he's only in year 12.
Did you say you had several years' experience in the industry as a
Yes, I have.
videographer? When did you start?
As you mentioned with my YouTube channel, I started with that.
Videographer Georgia Spencer worked as a subcontractor for Ashley and claims he lied to her about his age.
I did ask him how long he had been in the wedding business, and he told me that he'd been doing it since he was 8.
She says she's owed around $1,000. Another videographer.
So it's more than just a bad wedding
says
video.
he's also waiting on $1,000.
He doesn't pay rent. I don't know what bills he has, so I'm like, where has the money gone?
No, what have you done with that money?
I've sent it off on a lot of refunds. So
I
I've had
haven't
quite a
heard
couple.
anyone that's had a refund.
So
now.
Tegan's actually claimed the refund.
She said that she hasn't got any money back from you yet.
I have to double check that. I'm pretty sure. No, actually, no. Tegan hasn't claimed a refund.
That was quick. You folded on that immediately.
I'm not going to deny that. Yes, I am.
They look at this and
Well,
what have we paid?
he's not very good at
We got the
scamming.
opinion of videographer of 25 years, Marcus Theodore, who runs the
Tegan actually accepted it. No, she didn't.
The videos
Ah,
I've
you're right.
seen
Yes,
were
no, she didn't.
completely substandard.
What do you do? I mean, you can't recreate the day, can you?
You know, we had a budget for our wedding, and that took a big chunk of our budget because that was something that we really wanted to have forever, to show our kids and our kids' kids.
You can.
And he's taken that from us. We can't get it
If
back.
they want to see their
Do you
mom's
think that
ass
you
in a
could
wedding
do us a
dress,
huge
you've got them
favour
covered in
and get this
droves.
back to those ladies?
Got
Is it time
ample
to put the
footage.
camera down?
Yeah.
We checked in with the brides late today. Ashley's dad has given $400 back to Danny. Amy and Tegan are hoping to work out
Just
their
reminding you
refunds
that I love
with
you.
him too.
You never fail to make me laugh.
Well, that was wholesome,
Also,
Dub.
my PP sounds like.
Fuck yeah, baby! Now we're cooking. Ah, that's what I've been waiting for. Now my engine's revved.
It saddens me that editors get bad
Ah, shit.
reputation in this world. Editing takes a lot of time and effort.
You're right. Editing's a lot like telling a good joke. Sometimes you have to combine multiple SPs. Goddamn. What a great noise that was. Alright, where we at?
Just graduated college recently and now I'm starting a full-time job soon. Wish me luck.
Godspeed, man. Wish you the best of luck with it, Josh. And I hope you enjoy the job above all else. It depends on what the fake property is here, but there's potential with this one. Jeff French's battle to walk daughter down the aisle.
Choo choo. Here comes the train.
Thanks, Dub. I've heard that one. I'd never heard the pee-pee dribbles, though. Thanks for the resub, Calacatus. Goddamn. Tradie turns detective after Ute tool stolen. I understand only a couple of those words. The rest seem very much Australian.
It doesn't get much worse for a tradie than having your ute and tools stolen, only to find them for sale online. When it happened to Stephen, he turned
Thanks to the Prime
investigator,
Shadowed.
along with his very determined mum.
When you know your children hurt, you hurt too.
You don't have anything to say to these people.
But he's just going to chase me up the street.
Yeah, it's the ACA. They'll chase you
Everyone
across
has
the
a
world if
story
they have
about
to.
themselves or about their mates that have had their tools stolen.
It's frustrating. I'm angry. You know, it's financially crippled me.
Is he competing for the next Smash Bros slot? Why did they silhouette him like that?
With his mum. Together, Stephen and Denise have spent the past 4 weeks trying to get his beloved ute back, which vanished from the driveway of his home. The single dad doesn't want to be identified for fear of retribution.
It was pretty hard, to be honest with you. I just completely collapsed and passed my phone to my boy.
The Ford Falcon ute is worth around $20,000 and is the glazier's only transport to carry out his work. Without his car and tools, he's been forced to work night shifts, defitting shops to make ends meet.
That sucks.
A single father working hard and working for a lot of years, never been on the dole.
That was my life. It's my livelihood. That was everything.
Well, he's still on the grind, though.
It's just, yeah, to me, everything just come to an end at that point.
Mum Denise isn't shying
I like
away
when
from
Brian
speaking
does
out
this.
to help her son track down his
Thanks, Mike.
Nobody deserves for somebody to come along and whip that out from under them.
48 hours after the ute was stolen, Stephen started trawling social media and uncovered a post advertised on Gumtree, which appeared
Who
to
would
be
sell it on social media, though, if you stole it?
While it didn't show photos, the description matched his vehicle.
So I've actually contacted the fella and made out as if I wanted to buy a door panel off him.
The seller quickly responded, sending through this photo.
Is that the colour you're looking for?
It's a bit hard to see clearly through the
Oh, they
screen.
hired voice
Can you
actors.
send a clearer picture?
Then, after a few messages back and forth, the seller stopped replying.
At that point in time,
Thanks to
he's
resub,
obviously
Supity.
realised that either that was too obvious to send through or he's realised who I was.
That's when Mum Denise stepped in to try lure the seller
Thanks to
by
resub,
inquiring
Stuart.
about a ute tray he also had for sale, and it worked.
Would you take $100?
Nah, not even close, sorry. Worth a lot more. 500 or nearest offer.
What about...
I love that they're voice acting this.
Yeah,
This is
okay.
beautiful. Thank you,
He's
ACA.
dropped the price again to $300, asking me if I'm still coming to get it and when do I want to pick it up.
Trying to turn the tables, the pair relayed the communication to police in the hope it would lead to an arrest. But police told them it was too high risk for them to be directly involved.
On multiple occasions, they've asked me to, set him up and push him off, and then they just keep delaying it.
We've had ample opportunities.
Well,
We've done a citizen's arrest, I guess.
The world's most inefficient
Stephen's
form
ute
of
was allegedly
arrest.
captured on CCTV at this service station only days after it was stolen. This police report revealing the unidentified driver made off without paying.
At that time, my ute was still drivable.
Most heartbreaking of all, Stephen's ute is uninsured and within days it was for sale online in parts.
Aw.
A situation Stephen and
They
his
dismembered
mum
him.
believe could have been avoided had police acted sooner.
It's frustrating. I'm angry.
You can at least buy
it's
all the parts
financially
back and then reassemble it yourself like a
and I had
Lego
opportunity
set.
to get my ute back when it was drivable, so I could continue my work.
He's done the right thing from the word dot with the police. He's not taken it into his own hands. And what's he got in return? Absolutely nothing.
The seller is identified on social media as Bo Shepherd. It's
Hi,
alleged
Bo.
he has several Facebook accounts and pops up on buy swap sell platforms for the
Going
Ipswich
through a
area.
lot of anxiety from
Since we
moving into
began
my first
investigating
apartment
this
with
story,
my
there's been
girlfriend.
a dramatic
Thank you for
development
the
with
much
police
needed laughs,
carrying out a
man.
raid
Hey,
and
hope you
arresting
enjoy it,
Bo
Quantum.
Shepherd. He's now
Enjoy the apartment
facing
life.
court.
Bo Shepherd has been charged with 1 count of receiving tainted property and 1 count of attempted fraud.
Bo?
Hey, Bo.
Jess from A Current Affair, how are you? We'd just like to have a chat with you. I believe...
Straight from the watch house with his charge sheet, Bo Shepherd is caught unaware.
Man,
by
ACA is always on
You've been
it.
accused of a ute and selling it online.
I didn't steal a ute. I didn't get accused of stealing no.
Have you sold items online?
From parts I bought.
Oh my god.
And
That tattoo says Dylan.
Friends and work colleagues that have
That's so
done
fucking
whatever
cool.
they can to help Stephen have said
Dude, Dylan must
lot
be
of
so
people they
flattered.
wouldn't help, but he is
He's
so
a part of this
trustworthy.
degenerate's
Do you have anything
body
to say to them?
permanently now.
You don't have anything to say to these people?
But he's just going to chase me up the street.
Absolutely. There's parts that you're currently selling. Where have they actually come from?
Them parts that I sold, they come from that I bought off some other.
While Beau's case is yet to go through courts, the allegations are a reminder of the recent
Not the most athletic of escapes, gets hit by a car.
Where they used to perhaps go down to pawn shops or the cash converters, etc., and get rid of stolen items. Now they're getting rid of them on platforms like Gumtree and Facebook.
Criminologist Terry Goldsworthy.
It's just another avenue for people to engage in criminal
Thanks for the
conduct
tier 1
and
Quantum.
enterprise.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Anyone who's going to go onto these platforms, be it Gumtree, eBay or anything, needs to ensure that they take relevant steps to protect themselves. And that means, trying to ascertain if the goods are stolen or the goods are fit for purpose.
Before it reaches that stage, tradies can now protect themselves through an app.
ACA is going to wake someone up in the middle of their sleep to ask questions. Yeah, that sounds like ACA.
A virtual toolbox.
If your tools are stolen, you just go into the app, call the police, tick which tools are stolen out of the virtual toolbox, and everything's ready. The emails will go to police and insurance companies.
I hope to God that nobody else has to go through what he has gone through and is still going through for no fault of their own. It's just not fair.
You're right about that, Denise. It's not fair. One of Stephen's friends has kindly, though, chipped in $800 towards some new tools, but it will still take some time for Stephen to get back on his feet, and we wish him all the best.
Is ACA not helping? Well, it's not all bad, Denise, because one of his friends gave money. That's all. He's the only one that gave money. It won't be us. We don't have the budget for that. We have to chase people around. It's expensive labor. Renters revolt after property repairs ignored, and it has a man crushed by a grill. What the fuck happened in this? It looks like a cartoon, like a grand piano falling on someone. I've got to know.
Renters know that no property is perfect. Things will always need fixing. But these tenants say the problems they reported to their landlords were ignored. And then they all ended up in hospital.
Who took pictures of this instead of helping the guy?
If my kids had fallen through.
Oh God, you got hit by a grill that fell from the second story? Alright, hold on, stay there.
That I was the one that had to be injured.
Tinder
All
pic.
of these injuries would have been avoidable had the landlord done the right thing.
When you rent a home, you expect it to
Thanks
be
for the
up
tier
to
1
standard,
stolen.
a haven for you where you should be safe. But as you'll hear tonight, more and more tenants are being injured in their homes in incidents that are completely
Thanks for the bits,
avoidable.
To have no compassion, no nothing, don't care whatsoever, just care about money. It's not the right way to treat someone.
The owner should do the right thing, and the real estate should do the right thing.
Helen Farkas had lived at her Slacks Creek home south of Brisbane for 15 years, but over the last few
they're both
years,
injured.
she realised her back stairs had begun to rot.
How many times had you complained about the stairs?
Every single inspection for the last 2 and a bit years.
Her real estate did nothing until one day Helen's worst nightmare came true.
Why not just fix it yourself at some
I've
point?
stepped onto the top rung.
2 years.
It has rotted through, and I've fallen the whole way through and hit concrete.
Helen smashed her heel, breaking her foot, big toe and a rib.
Before I could think anything or do anything, I was on the concrete on my back and in pain. My kids could have fallen through.
Probably would have been better if they
broken
did. Their bodies are a lot more
The
resilient
real
than an
estate's
older
response was
woman's.
to take away the stairs entirely
No one would have got
and board
hurt.
up the back of Helen's home.
Shit, that would have been like a
What's
fun
even
ride, I
more
bet.
outrageous is they acknowledged Helen had previously complained.
If he'd replaced the, 4 stairs originally that were rotten, which would have cost, a couple of $100 for treads, without even having to replace the whole stairs, none of this would have happened.
Now Helen is suing her landlord and real estate for more than $270,000 in
Not bad.
damages.
Can't work again unless it's a desk job. I will never ever have a normal foot again. It will probably always be stiff.
I just
That looks
panicked and
normal.
grabbed whatever I could to try and get back on my feet and end up on my back.
This is what happened to Chris
What the
Deaton
fuck
when
happened?
his deck finally gave out as he was moving his barbecue. Like Helen, he had also
That looks like Final
previously
Destination.
complained.
I had concerns about the whole house.
What the fuck
numerous
happened?
times around the real estate about water leaking, the sewage, and the deck mainly.
He's also suing his landlord
How did
and
he even
real
get the
estate after
pictures?
nothing was done. Chris ended up in hospital and now has ongoing back issues. He has to take daily pain medication to be able to do any work as a truck driver.
I've got a family, I am a human, and to not take any notice of me.
We've seen things from electrocutions through to stairs falling down, decks falling down, stairs
Thanks for
not
the
being up
resub,
to code,
Justin.
And people falling down the stairs.
But how many of
Lawyer
those
Gillian
people had
Barrett from
3
Morris
different angle
Blackburn
pictures
says there
taken?
needs to be a legislative change to better protect
Thanks,
tenants.
Elle.
We would like to see some stricter penalties for landlords that aren't complying with the safety requirements.
She says they're seeing more and more people fall victim to dodgy homes.
My clients have had to have a lot of time off work and will likely continue to do so in the future.
Clients like Lizzie Moxon, who is suing
God, how
for
many
more
people
than
get fucked up by
$400,000 in
bad
damages.
property?
We're 2 years down the track now, just over 2 years, and I can't see an end sight anytime soon.
She was visiting her brother's house when she fell down the
I
stairs
just got
as she
here
was
when I
leaving,
sent that dono.
landing
Can you
heavily on
explain
her
what
foot,
these videos
breaking
are?
it and tearing the
Also
ligaments,
glad I could make you
requiring
laugh with the sound of
extensive
Moisty
surgery.
PP.
My brother had complained
It's
many
news
times
in
before.
Australia.
He brought it up every time
Kinda.
they had their
Have you seen this
3-monthly
live
inspection.
PD yet?
The steps
I've seen every
weren't
live
even
PD.
compliant due to the height of the drop at the bottom. The day after
Every
Lizzie
single
and her
one, but
brother
thank you, Ma.
reported the fall to
Maka.
the real estate, they installed this concrete slab at the bottom of the steps, but continued to blame Lizzie for breaking her own ankle.
The property manager was yelling at my brother, saying that it was his fault that I'd fallen down the stairs, that he didn't take enough duty
I wanna go
of
back to the
care
man
to
with the
tell
grill.
me that the stairs were broken.
Now, 2 years on, the nursing student still suffers from ongoing pain.
If I'm working a full shift or a double shift, my ankle does get really swollen and sore.
All believe their injuries were avoidable and will now live with the pain for life.
If there was a penalty that the government imposed, it might make the landlords do the right thing because they're not doing it now.
Being independent is something you take for granted, and then when you're not, it messes with your head. It really does.
Helen's case is now in mediation.
Are we
while
not
Lizzie
going
and
to
Chris are
address
still
the grill?
locked in their legal battles.
You know, it's sad what's happened to them, no doubt about that. But this grill one, I don't get it.
He was moving his...
Like, this picture is taken from inside of his house, looking down on him. Like, it's not a security camera. So who the fuck? Bro, take a picture of me. I'm gonna put my grill on my on my hip here, so it doesn't hurt too bad, and then just snap a quick one, and then get it from the other side, because then they also have a different angle. Where's the other angle? There's 3 angles here. Christ, where was it? Oh yeah, there. Yeah, and then go around the outside and take a picture of me with the. Like, come on, man. They didn't say it was a reenactment. Nuh-uh. When did they say that in the episode? They did not say that. I don't know about that. That just looks like a reenactment photo, but I'm pretty sure they're passing that off as the photo from the injury. Because that was in their montage of the injuries that happened with the people that had actual injuries. But yeah. If he did get hit by a rogue grill blown in from a tornado, that is absolutely rough. No doubt about that. Yeah, maybe ACA staged that. They had the camera crew inside and they like loosened everything on his balcony. So then when he stepped on it, it just collapsed and they immediately started snapping photos while he was unconscious. Sounds like some shit the ACA would do. Thanks for the Prime Chicken Nova and the resub Wind Cloud. Uber driver's sleazy proposition recorded. I kind of want to hear that. I don't think it'll be overly
Uber has
interesting
an
though.
image problem, and drivers like Sandeep do little to help it.
Sandeep
He's
the
accused
creep.
of offering a special discount for women
Right.
only.
I'm really scared.
You can like friends with benefits, you know.
What do you mean when you say friends with benefits?
That just made me feel so insecure.
Damn, does he? Was he born with sunglasses on? God
It's
damn.
fairly sleazy behaviour, isn't it?
I was like, how do I get, out of this situation?
Uber is now sort of in the same place that taxis were, where women think twice about it.
He's the Uber driver offering a free ride with a catch.
I was really scared. Like, I wasn't certain.
Thanks for the
what
gift
he was
sub, Blue
capable
Jean,
of.
and the resub Brax.
It was very early in the morning. I was by myself.
Adrian Horrigan caught an Uber last December to her friend's house on the Gold Coast. She says when she ordered a return trip a few hours later, it was the same driver, Sandeep Singh.
Nice, hey. He's hustling out
Made me
there.
feel as though because he had waited apparently, like not to my knowledge, but I could then repay him or, as he says, pay for my fare in other ways.
She recorded the rest of the conversation on her phone as she was worried where it was headed.
Just once for me.
I don't do that though. I don't do that for anyone.
You should watch RBT. It's an Aussie version of
Because I
Live
don't do
PD.
that.
We have
There are
watched
some
it.
pretty loose cunts on
Adrian
there.
says she
We've
felt
seen
nervous
RBT.
and didn't want to offend.
It was pretty good.
Requests continued.
Just once for me.
No, sorry.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because I don't do that.
What does he want? A blowjob?
Sorry?
You can do it with me.
Can I do it for you? No.
As he was continuing to persist like that, how was that making you feel?
I was starting to think that my original no wasn't.
I was getting very
heard,
close to
like,
sucking his dick.
How else can I
His
say no?
persistence was hot.
You can be like friends with benefits, you know.
You and I?
Yeah, I can like drop off them to pick up you like anytime whenever you want.
Ah, what an
So
invaluable
he's tried
service.
6 times, and now he's
What a hero.
pitching again as friends with benefits. You must have been getting pretty freaked out by
I
then.
was, yeah. I was like, how do I get, out of this situation?
After one final attempt at convincing her, he gives up.
You know, like there's nothing wrong with it.
Sorry?
There's nothing wrong in it.
I just don't do that, that's all.
Oh, it's okay. I was just asking.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You did ask, I know.
Just trying to take on board what was happening.
No,
and what
you're
the
good.
best
You're
approach
good.
would
Just
be.
recording it, laughing at you.
Get out of this
Thank you, Sandeep.
car, like sooner rather than later. Should I be calling the police?
Sandeep Singh agreed to meet with us to hear our questions.
My name's
Do you
Dan,
guys want
I'm
to
from
fuck me
Current Affair.
and I'll drive
We're
you
investigating a complaint
anywhere you want
about an Uber
anytime?
ride with you. Okay.
Special
The
deal?
complaint is that you were offering free rides for sexual favours.
No, mate.
What can you tell us about that?
He initially denied it was him behind
Thanks for
the
the
wheel.
resub, Fluttershy.
She has a recording of you saying where you're saying you want to be friends with benefits. What do you mean when you say friends with benefits?
No, mate.
You know what I'm talking about.
Eventually,
don't cry.
he did admit making that offer.
You agree it's very sleazy behaviour.
Yeah, it is. It is, you know.
A female passenger doesn't deserve that.
Yeah, I know, mate. It's really.
You know that now.
Yeah, I know.
Sandeep Singh realises his mistake now and even wants to apologise.
So what would you say to her if you could see her now?
Well, if she'd get into my Uber, I'd apologize to her, I promise.
I would just like to say sorry.
Adrian says Uber refunded her fare but provided little extra information on what action would be taken against the driver.
I will be reviewing whether this partner will continue to have access to the app. We will do our best to not pay you with this driver in the future.
Really like blasé, just as if it was no big
At the
deal.
end of the day,
As if I left my phone
Sandeep may be
in the car or
thirsty,
something, you know what I
weird,
mean? Like,
creepy,
I'll look into it.
but he's a great Uber
This was
driver.
a terrible first response from Uber. What they should have done was get rid of the driver. This was a problem. We have solved it. We are sorry. Not, we'll try not to pair you with him. That's awful.
Marketing expert Dee Madigan says
Only
the
pair him with
latest
like
image
really
from
chunky
Uber
men.
after a mounting
He'll quit on his
number
own,
of
I
even
bet.
more serious assaults, including rape of female passengers. Competitors like Sheba are now popping up with all female drivers.
what situations like this do is they cause more women to rethink Uber, and we've seen that with the growth of Sheba. And you know, that's a good thing that there's an option out there for women.
Competition's always a good thing.
Uber informed us that Sandeep Singh was removed as a driver, but they didn't pass
Now he
that
drives for
information
Sheba.
along to the complainant.
As soon as we became aware of the report, we removed the individual's access to the app, and he no longer has access to the platform.
Sandeep Singh says the proposition was a one-off mistake and claims to have a clean record in his new career driving taxis.
So you haven't been making any more of these offers to any passengers?
Oh, I can't ask for sex in Uber anymore, so I'm gonna try Lyft.
All the recordings and everything, everything that I have ever done.
They need to be more aware of their drivers. They need to know who is in control of their brand name and who's driving these cars around.
That is an appalling response from Uber to Adrian's complaint. They need to do better.
Well, if you say so, ACA. I, for one, can see the good heart under Sandeep. He had good intentions. And if nothing else, he asked. It's rare you find a rapist like that these days. Rapists don't even ask anymore. Sad. Sad state of things. Hunting for Roxy Jacinko hunting for mystery poo jogger. Now that's big. That's big. The poo jogger's been a menace.
These days, chances are you'll be caught on CCTV. The jogger who left an unwanted deposit outside PR queen Roxy Jacinko's
Well, you don't know it's
office
unwanted. Don't
should
speak
have
for the
thought
owner.
about that, because now everyone knows what she did and what she looks like.
Oh, that's bold.
It's disgusting. We thought it was a dog at first.
This isn't real. Who does this?
I thought it was a joke at first.
She's fighting fit and needs a sudden toilet stop. But who would have thought this $2 million postcode would be soiled by a number 2?
Well, I mean,
Damn, that's rough, man. Can't even shit next to a car in private anymore. Fucking Big Brother's always watching.
And use their bathroom instead of using our streets of Paddington.
6:30 in the morning, and the so-called Paddington pooper looks a little uncomfortable. She rounds the bend, puts her phone in her mouth, then casually drops her active Dax for a dark act usually reserved for behind closed doors, not in an open street.
Paddington didn't deserve this.
To notice that there's CCTV footage cameras everywhere. She's not the smartest runner, is she?
No. But she does have the runs.
Yeah.
We've all been caught short, but this woman didn't count on being caught.
Wait,
on
what did she wipe
CCTV.
with? She brought her own toilet paper? Was this premeditated?
A nimble jogger.
Yeah, there she goes. Mason works for PR queen Roxy Jacinko's Sweaty Betty agency, whose security cameras caught the colon caper.
Everyone kind of turned around and realised
My
that
dogs will drink water and it sounds like
sitting here a
slops,
bit
slops,
shook.
slops, slops,
Because of
slops,
what I've
slops,
just
slops,
seen.
slops.
That's not even making a sound, it's just saying schlop.
So come over if you dare, basically. Yeah, I don't think they left.
Basically,
the same way
resub
last
K.
night.
I think the most shocking thing is that she's clearly prepared. She's got the toilet paper.
Oh, she did bring
in her
toilet paper.
pants and she pulls it out.
Basically, we've got our new friend dubbed Poopertrator, crime scene #1 last year. Now, this is last week.
Exhibit A?
Exhibit A.
Okay, and what's up here?
Wait, are they just leaving the shit around this girl's car?
Is it fresh? You could call it fresh.
No need to show you, but I'm sure you get the picture. Yeah, let's
Go this way.
We'll face this way.
What the fuck?
Parking might be a 1-hour limit around here.
They're just
This
collecting
woman
her
needs
shit?
A few seconds.
It was a full moon last night, so you never know. Strange things are happening around here.
And it's not just a one-off.
4 or 5 times. There's no excuse
What?
for it, basically.
Neighbours are shocked.
She's got her favorite shitting spot?
That's horrible. The courier's
She owns that street now.
Do you want to check your soles of your shoes? Make sure you haven't... Yeah. No, you're okay.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me know.
While Becky has another obstacle to navigate behind the wheel.
Not very good at reverse parking as is, and now I have to dodge human feces.
Is there nothing you can do to ask her to stop, maybe?
For the skid marks.
No.
As the saying goes, any publicity is good publicity, right? I mean, even Roxy Jacinko is reluctant to flush away such a great opportunity for more exposure, even if the perpetrator has hit rock bottom. It's not the first time Roxy's office has copped a spray.
graffiti, multiple graffiti.
Who's Roxy?
Eggings, paint, but nothing quite as unique as this.
I'm sure she's made piss people off. You think so? Yeah.
And New South Wales police say investigations have begun. But Sweaty Betty staff have a gut feeling about what's happened, given past public poop stops by joggers.
Is this like an epidemic or something? Why is everyone shitting on the Australian streets?
Researching it. It's a rush for some people, which, you know, each to their own, I say, but just not here.
Yeah, keep it at home.
Keep it at home, where it belongs.
4 times. Is it 4?
The incident hasn't put nearby cafe customers off their crema though. In fact, Barista Sam's got a solution.
We were open, so the person could have come here as a potential alternative.
Don't invite a person that shits in the street into your restaurant. Fuck that.
We've been told the
No
alleged
public
offender has
shitters allowed in my
deleted all her
Starbucks.
social media accounts to avoid her activewear being recognised.
It's a PR office. Maybe they're faking it for attention. Could be Roxy shitting. Man, imagine a business so terrible that in order to be relevant, you have to shit in public. I don't know how far they'll get with the strategy, but you could be right. Thanks for the resub, Mark. Alright, it's 1:30. I'll watch one more. I want one more good story. Mad 40-year age gap. We've seen plenty of age gaps. Mom sues son after he opens rival chocolate business. It's those kind of stories that make ACA so special. Oh, it's fantastic.
Well, Charlie may have been happy at the chocolate factory, but it's a business that's tearing the Thompson family apart. In fact, the falling out has become so bitter, a judge compared it to a Shakespearean tragedy after Pam took her son Chris to court.
No.
We're a great, happy family business.
Looks like Shane Dawson, kinda.
I absolutely saw her.
If he didn't make documentaries and made chocolate instead.
They're not part of my company, so I can't give you information about them.
I believe she's just absolutely trying to crush us. Yeah, she just won't give us a break.
It's an interesting way to deal with the media. Call the police.
It's probably a good way of dealing with the ACA.
Over who owned the biscuit in the first place.
I've done anything wrong. He's working so hard for so long.
Chris Thompson and his partner Amy are devastated. A life aimed at confection perfection has led to rejection.
We worked extremely hard.
Poetic ACA, that was
to
nice.
get Noosa Chocolate Factory to where it is today. And then in April, for a motive we're still unsure of, we were told that we didn't have anything to do with the business ever again.
The business was built up to a string of retail stores, but it started out small.
We're a family business. Mum was fantastic at doing the bookwork and ingredient ordering, and my father was amazing in the factory making our beautiful products. And Amy and I were the powerhouse of trying to get it out there and sell the product.
Before they had stores, Chris and Amy sold the product at farmers markets.
What an incredible story.
Market days were pretty
Thanks to the
tough.
tier 1,
Obviously
Dawson.
Getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Chris's mum, Pam Thompson, received an inheritance which was invested into setting up the business.
What was the family relationship like back in those days?
Then who was that?
Fantastic
Is that the guy fucking your mom?
You know, I've had so much love for my mother.
Chris says he registered the name Noosa Chocolate Factory under his ABN. In 2013, the first retail stores were opened and the business took off. Revenue climbed from $250,000 per year to eventually hit $4 million.
Those aren't baby boy
Last
numbers.
year,
That's not
Pam was
bad.
able to buy this $2 million home overlooking the beach at Noosa, all thanks to their little chocolate factory that was picking up awards along the way.
When the company was winning awards, you guys were down there collecting them.
Yeah, I mean, we were seen as the owners, the founders of Noosa Chocolate Factory.
But that claim is what will eventually land them in the federal court. You see, in April, Pam's lawyers informed Chris by letter that he was removed as a director of the business, and ordering he
Why?
and Amy never to set foot in any of the stores.
Our lives were just absolutely shattered. In April, not only did we lose our business, as we thought it was our business, but we lost our family.
The letter of demand accused Chris of withholding cash takings from the stores.
Oh, he definitely did
denies
that, though.
claim and says
No, for
it's
sure.
still
No.
unclear
Dude bought a $2 million
why he was
house
removed.
of $4 million in revenue, not even profit. That math doesn't add up, ACA. He definitely did that.
Unfortunately, there are some external factors which I believe has led this on to our removal from the business.
Tensions at the company are now running high. We were confronted by two store managers after simply filming from a public footpath.
Where do Chris and Amy operate from these days?
I can't discern that information to you at the moment, I'm sorry. They're not part of my company, so I can't give you information about them.
Things have got pretty nasty, have they?
Not necessarily, no. I just don't have any information to disclose upon the topic.
They said they were going to call their general manager, but instead complained about us to police.
It's an interesting
Ooh.
way to
And the
deal
police
with the
just
media.
walk away.
Call the police.
We also
Man, we're
tried to
owned by
chat
the
to
ACA.
Pam at her Noosa home, but she didn't want to talk.
Wanting to have a chat with you about the court case with your son. Did you have a few minutes just to have a chat with us, Pam?
So how did this messy family bust-up land in the federal court with a judge comparing it to a Shakespearean tragedy?
So there's two Noosa chocolate factory stores right there on one of Brisbane's busiest streets. And now, just across the road, Chris and Amy have opened up a new chocolate shop.
Good for
A
them.
new sign up there called
Used with the money
Amy's
from Noosa that he was withholding.
Pam is not very happy with them.
Chris and Amy were selling their new products with branding, calling themselves founders of the Noosa Chocolate Factory.
So we believe we were saying the right thing, and many people agree with us, but I don't believe my mother was happy for us to say that we were the founders of those brands.
Pam took them to the federal court, ordering
I made a
any
video on
link to
Kids
her
Bop, Karen.
company be removed. She also demanded her son
I'm pretty sure
hand
I've
back
seen the cricket
control
one.
of the Noosa Chocolate Factory website and Instagram accounts, which he has now complied with. Pam also accuses Chris of taking a Range Rover car as well as $500,000 in company loans and chocolate making equipment. Claims he denies.
She is seeking that I pay back over $200,000 for equipment in my possession, but this equipment is literally no more than $10,000 or $15,000 worth.
Justice John Logan has now sent both parties to mediation.
And try and go and come to some resolution which they can all live with, because otherwise the judge is going to have to make a decision that one party is not going to like.
Lawyer
That's
Sam
typically how that
Massoni
goes.
says family members heading
That's
into
what you
business
sign up
together
for.
need to get
A winner and a
individual
loser.
advice.
It
No
is
getting
very
around that.
That where you've got 2 or 3 parties to an arrangement, that each party have their own independent lawyer and their own independent financial advice.
Yep,
Thompson says
that's
he
how
didn't
that works
realise
as
the
well. You're not
company's
wrong.
restructure back in 2013,
Man,
which
cutting
made him a
edge.
director of
Nothing
the
gets by
Noosa
him.
Chocolate Factory also gave Pam full ownership.
What the fuck does that guy do? It's like John Madden telling me how suing someone works.
Amy
Yeah, the judge is gonna have to say yes or no.
Their full-time focus.
We don't know what he's gonna do.
Still want to know why they were dumped.
To do that to his son particularly, like, he's just done nothing but try and look after his family.
I just want to meet her again, and I believe that when we all see each other face to face, we'll remember just how good things were.
Then walk across the street.
Pam Thompson says she's unable to comment while the matter is before the court. Her statement is on our website.
I mean, it could just walk across the street. Hey, Mom, let's talk this out. But there is no doubt in my mind that guy was absolutely withholding some company shit. No one affords a $2 million house off a company that does $250K a year and then $4 million 5 years later. And that's revenue, not even profit. There's no way. That just doesn't make any sense.